as I am a cookie fraud that we're finding out just now. Cookie fraud.
Thieves.
Thieves.
We're
fat friends.
Don't trust a fat friend. They're just a bunch of frauds. They'll steal from you.
And they'll bake cookies that you'll think they made by hand, but they didn't. They came out of a package. And welcome to the plus size section. I am Sam.
I am here. I'm Hayley.
That's Hayley. Yeah. That's Hayley. And this episode, we're talking about being the fat friend.
Yep.
Yeah. What a great time it's been, right?
I mean, we're having a ball. As two fat friends. I know we mean it in the stereotypical sense, but...
Right.
We always have fun.
We always have a good time. And you, the listener, have a good time. Am I right? Am I right? Oh, man. We were going to do a poll, dude. I completely forgot on Instagram to do a poll about share your stories about being a fat friend. Man. Okay. My bad, everyone. I died over the weekend. Share in the comments your experiences of what it's been like to be a fat friend. Because that's one thing we do need you guys to do is comment on stuff. I'm loving that you're listening. I'm loving that you're engaging. I would love to turn that engagement up a little bit and have you leave a comment if you feel comfortable and safe to do so.
Emojis are okay.
Emojis are okay. Emojis are okay. Things are getting a little heated in the fat community though, so it's like, if you feel safe and comfortable leaving a comment, leave a comment. You know, the thing we were discussing earlier, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, God, has more happened?
No, that was just like now I'm like, ooh, okay. But yeah.
Ready.
No, Lord. But yeah, I think Hayley and I both have some experiences to share with you guys of what it's like to be the fat friend in a group. I even have some experiences of being with other fat body people in a group.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess I do too, but I'm interested to hear what yours are.
Well, I want to hear what yours are too.
All right, we'll cover both.
So, Hayley, what are some fat friend types?
Well, there are a few, and now that I'm looking at this list that I made earlier, maybe some of them overlap, but of course you have the fat funny friend.
Okay.
But yeah, the fat funny friend, someone who I feel like is sought out just because they can make you laugh. It's kind of like a court jester type of vibe, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know, just like around for the amusement, but not seen as like a person in the sense of like they have their own shit going on or anything like that. It's very superficial.
Yeah. Comic relief. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We have everyone's favorite, the Duff, which stands for Designated Ugly Fat Friend. I know they made a movie about that and cast someone who was not fat or ugly.
Yeah,
I guess they were designated. It was like, it came out like 10 years ago. It was like an older movie.
Oh.
Just one of those like low budget-ish teen haha movie kind of things. You know? But that just basically is a friend that's around to make you look hotter. And I guess if we were on Jersey Shore, that would be the token grenade.
That's great. Yeah. Okay. Like the We Gotta Go girl. Like the We Gotta Go girl.
Sure.
Yeah, when you're out with friends. When you're out drinking with friends and there's like the guys are like trying to hit on the hot friends, but then like they always have like their ugly friend that's like the we gotta go, it's time to go. So like they try to get that friend drunk. Come on. Have you never had this experience? Okay, we'll talk about it. Continue. It's
Maybe
like it's a literal phenomenon. It's a literal thing.
Are they saying we gotta go so the hot girl doesn't sleep with the dude?
Yes. So basically, like, you go out with your friends, and the person that's either the DD, normally they're the DD, is the we gotta go girl. So once it like hits, the time that they all agreed to leave, she rounds up her friends, right? And she's like, we gotta go. So the guys will figure out who the we gotta go girl is, and they'll get them drunk and try to distract them so that their friends can hook up with the girls' friends.
Well, as someone who has apparently been the we gotta go friend, I have never been dazzled or enticed by these men. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize this happened, but maybe I was just too terrifying for them. I don't know.
Well, normally it is the bigger friend. I've been the we gotta go girl multiple times because I'm the fat friend. And we'll talk about it. Yeah, isn't that funny?
It is, but now I'm like, why didn't they try to distract me? Is it because I look them square in the eyes because I'm as tall as they are?
Maybe. You are.
Is that my RBF? Am I?
Yeah. What? Of course.
Little old me? Balderdash.
No, sorry.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, I'm back to take a break from being intimidating and get back to fat friend types. We have the butt of the joke.
Yes.
Every little instance is an opportunity to strike them down with some witty repartee that you just have to share, Just destroy them. Yeah. Destroy their self-esteem.
Of course. I feel like this is seen so much in media. We should definitely talk about this on the next episode. We have our special guest.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Definitely.
For sure.
I feel like that's going to be deeply relevant to this discussion that we have now that I'm thinking about it.
Absolutely. We should put that on the outline. Anyways, continue.
Yeah. Anywho. And one I feel like is not as talked about, but in my experience it's been really common in my life as myself, the one-sided type of friendship where we know all about the other person and they don't know anything about what's going on in our lives and don't ask to check, don't ask what's going on. It's always just them.
Yes.
That moment that we had on the podcast the last time we filmed, or the time before that when you were talking about my friend. Yep.
Yeah.
That kind of relationship.
Right. My God. Okay.
Again, it's like you're not a person. You're just you're the NPC. They're the main character.
Yeah. Blowing my mind right now. Okay. All right.
And I don't think this is an exhaustive list because I can admit that I don't know everything.
You heard it here, folks.
Breaking news.
Breaking news! As we all see that fish from freaking SpongeBob.
Why was it wearing a suit?
Because he's an anchor. He is an anchor, a TV anchor. He's a newsman. He's got to have a suit. He has a job to do.
Yes, that's true. I'm so glad you mentioned that.
I literally saw him on my FYP this morning, so...
That's awesome.
Just that's where I get my news from, is a fish. So I don't know about you guys.
How's that any different than the mainstream media? Am I right? I'm low insufferable right now.
Here we go. I love you. I think you're, if anything, increasing in my admiration for you. So.
Oh yeah, brother. All right. So the last fat friend is the emotional support fatty. And I feel like, so it's basically when someone of the gender you're attracted to leans on you emotionally, but you're not together. It's just a relationship without any physical aspects or loyalty in that regard to each other. I feel like this happens a lot with a fat woman who's friends with a guy.
Yeah.
I've seen this. It's happened to me. I feel like it's happened to every fat girl I know. But
I would also say it's very prevalent in the queer community also.
That's what I was I know it's not only I know it's not only straight relationships, which is why I tried to like word it really neutrally. That's just been the bulk of my experience.
Yeah.
But I know that like there are even still in like hetero relationships, like a fat guy who is that for the girl. Like it definitely happens to everybody.
For sure.
Like,
for sure.
Regardless of sexual orientation. But I feel like it's just really sad. Like, and it's something that like you don't really notice that it's happening until it's like, fuck, I really like this person and they're never going to see me like this.
Yeah.
Like it just hurts. Because then
what
are you going to do? Be
right.
in pain or cut the friendship off and be in pain for a little less time?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's easy for guys to do it, especially because like they aren't emotionally vulnerable with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they're really only emotionally vulnerable with people that they date. So if they happen to make a female friend and can have that like type of dynamic with them, I feel like it just falls right into place, unfortunately.
Yeah. Speaking of, I had my friend Taylor, her husband Ryan, has volunteered to come on the podcast and film an episode about what it's like to grow up as a hetero man that grew up big. So he's willing to share his experiences because he grew up as, a heavier child. And everyone went wild for him when I posted him on my TikTok and was like, who's this?
I wondered who that was.
Hayley, everyone was like, who is this sexy man on your TikTok right now? And I'm like, this is his wife. Like just so you guys know, like, yeah, you can look all you want, but like he is so held down by the sexiness that is Taylor. Like, it's just a compliment at this point.
They're both sexy.
They're both so fucking sexy. God, they're both so hot. But it's like, so he was like, let's talk about, like he was like willing to talk about what it's like to like grow up as like a heavier guy and like now be seen as like conventionally attractive because he doesn't think he's attractive. Like he doesn't, when people are hitting on him, he's like, he doesn't understand. Like him and Brian even went into like Home Depot together and Brian was like, honey, I guess like I've never been around like a really conventionally attractive man because women were like actively breaking their necks to look at this man because he's a big dude. He's like over 6 feet tall. I think he's like 6'4", 6'5". Like he has a beard. He'll wear his like hoochie daddy shorts out. Like he's tattooed head to toe. Like he has a nose ring. Like girlies' pussies pop when they see Ryan. See what you're doing right now? And, like, to me, he's, like, such big bro. It's, like, weird when people are like, oh, like, when people were like, who's that hot guy on your TikTok? I was like, who? And I was like, oh my god, yeah, Ryan. Because, like, we're just silly goofy. But, like, him and Taylor together, hot. They bring the spice because they're both so, like, together. But, like, when they're separated, I'm like, I don't know. It's something when they're together. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is hot. But when they're separate, I'm like, this silly I'll literally be like, Ryan, can you get this down for me? Like, come over here. Like, we're just like, we go get boba together. Like, this kid, like, you know what I mean? Cute. Like, this is my big brother. But Taylor, it was so funny.
I loved how, like, into it he was in the videos. Like, he fully committed too.
He commits to the bit.
That's just so... I feel like a lot of, like, conventionally attractive dudes could, like, take themselves too seriously and be like, no, I don't want to do this. It's stupid. But, like, when they commit to the bit and just go all in, it's so adorable. Yeah, he's committed. So I thought that'd be fun. Maybe one day we'll have him on here to give us the other perspective of what it's like to grow up as like a big guy and like he can like let us know like if he was the emotional support fat friend for his girls. You know what I mean? I feel like that would be a really good episode. I think so. So maybe I'll do a poll. We'll see. That could be our poll of like, do you guys want us to bring a guy on that I trust and I know is a good guy and I'd be willing to hear his perspective. Yeah. I feel like, how many opportunities like that do we get, Yeah. We'll see if Hayley behaves. We'll see. Just kidding. I would behave. I know you would. Goodness. He's fine. He's great. You know how I am about the talls? I married one.
You married one, I know. I know. Mine thought he was a tall, but life is fine. He's still tall. He's tall to
He's
me.
not a short king. Yeah,
He's
he's
not a
tall to
short
you,
king.
but
He's tall to
he's
me.
not short.
Yeah,
He's
he's
just
not.
average height.
And even if he was, I would still love him because his viewpoint of my breast would be just as enjoyable as it is now. He would have a great time. It would be fine.
That's what matters, people.
That's what matters, is how do my breasts look from your perspective, okay? That's what I need to know.
He could be like 8 feet tall or 4'6", and he'd be like, "This is a great view."
Exactly.
I love it.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Right?
Okay. Sorry to get off track. I just wanted to talk to you about that. Anyways, continue.
Let's see. My phone locked. We could talk about how the fat friend experience differs between male and female friend groups. And sorry to use such binary language. I guess thinking about it offhand, I don't really know I don't know if it's different in a queer and genderqueer group. If these kind of socialized roles translate into those groups as well, or if it's not an issue, or I'm just not entirely sure how that works.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of experience with that either, so
yeah,
we're going to be speaking from, I guess, our own experiences heavily on this one. And if you have a differing experience, please let us know in the comments. That way we can see from a different perspective, because right now we're only going to be able to lean on our own.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to know, honestly, because I would like to think that in those sorts of groups that it wouldn't be as big of an issue, but I know that fat phobia is one of those things that just kind of transcends all groups, and even people that you would typically not expect that from. People can still perpetuate those ideals.
Right. Fat phobia is rampant in the queer community. I know that for sure. Mm-hmm. Growing up in the queer community, with my family, my mom's, I had, especially with queer assigned, queer choosing male pronouns and male presenting, I guess is how you would say it. I don't know how to say they align with he him pronouns. Okay. In their male and male relationships, because this is back in the early 2000s. I literally, as a kid, I don't remember anyone going by they them. I'm not saying that they didn't. Is that I was in a very bubble type of environment of the type of queer community that I was in and that I was exposed to. So it was very much he him with he him relationships that I grew up around. And they were very, very fatphobic. The ones that I personally was exposed to, they had very strict, stereotypical views on what was attractive to them. And it was not heavier set other men. And even heavy set female on female relationships, lesbian relationships, they were the ones that I was around personally. And when I'm talking about the ones I was around, I'm talking about 3 groups, 3 sets of 2. My mom's friends, so they were also very judgmental of women on women bodies. And it was very, very apparent to them that if you were heavy set, you were living a very lazy life. And it cemented that mindset in my young mind as well.
That's horrible.
Yeah, and then back then, terms that were used would not fly today, would not be acceptable today. So that's why I'm having to be very careful of the language I'm choosing and selecting, because I don't want to misspeak. But it was very much I grew up watching Will and Grace and stuff like that. And there was nothing but fatphobia. They it's very, very clear that fatness equaled ugliness, equaled laziness, and that was upheld within the community. So yeah, for sure. I don't know if it's that still to this day, because I am very separated from the community I grew up with, just because of life, and then I don't know, I just am. Other than online. But in person, I don't even have in-person friends anymore. So like, I'm just not part of the community anymore. But when back in the day,
yeah, I know that you shared about like other things that like your moms or maybe their friends were really resistant to, like how things have changed over the last few years, and they've kind of just been like, oh, I don't know about all that, like just very resistant to that. So I would wager that some people still have those attitudes.
Yeah, my mom, they don't even like the term queer community. Like, it is very, they do not appreciate, yes. I love my parents, but they struggle very heavily with pronouns. They struggle very heavily with pronouns, and I have tried to simplify it as much as I can for them. But at some point, it's just like, it's the lack of caring from them. It's the lack of willing to put in the effort. And so we just don't have those conversations because I get heated. I have friends that use non-binary pronouns, and I love my friends. I respect my friends, and they have value to me. So I don't want to put them in a situation with someone that doesn't value them. So, you know what I mean? Like, they're part of the same community, but they're literally not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so
I totally get what you mean. Yeah. That is really sad because I don't know, I guess I don't really know how to say things either.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Trying to be very choosy with my words. Like, I have to we can cut this. Is butch still okay?
I don't know. That was something that I'm not sure. I'll have to do some research on it.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that term is still accepted. But that was what I grew up with. Yeah. So it's weird that like now that's not even like used, that term.
Yeah, I guess it's just masked now.
Yeah. It really is just mask, like mask presenting, I feel like. And even like my mom and like her other, queer friends, they all kind of like share the same ideals on it and the same, because I've just, older generation, so I don't like to be around them personally because it's just a very negative space to be in. But, to each his own, I guess. I just don't like to put myself in a line with them. You know what I mean? I don't want, I am not an ally to, I guess, that sector, because they're not an ally to anyone. Like,
yeah. Well, I think like, it could also be like, them, like their own energy. It's not that they're queer or, however they would say, however they would identify themselves. It's not because of their orientation.
Right.
It's the negativity that's already there.
That's coming from inside the house. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure.
That's very interesting though. Like, I honestly don't have any real like learned experience with like the queer community growing up. Like, I didn't know anyone.
Right. It was, you would think like it would be a safe space, but it wasn't. Like, you thought it would be a safe space for someone that is like fat bodied, but it just wasn't. And so again, it's like, as a fat body person, it's like, where is there an actual safe and healthy space for you out in this world? It's very difficult to navigate that.
Yeah.
And I think that was,
it takes like time to suss it out too. Like,
for sure.
Most of the time you can't tell right off the bat, and it's not until someone like treats you like shit or outright insults you that you're like, oh, well, this isn't that safe space. I guess I'll move on.
Yeah. And I think that's why a lot of us move to the online space. Like, I know that that's a joke of like people that do like play Sims, or for a long time I played this game, Second Life. Yeah, Second Life.
Yeah.
Second Life is a big like game for a lot of people, and a lot of people are bigger bodied that play it. And I think that that's because like you're just trying to find a safe space. But even in Second Life, like, no one plays as big bodied. Everyone plays like just in Sims, you know what I mean? Like, everyone plays as like skinny and, conventionally attractive. And so it's still like, that's not even really a safe place for fat bodied either,
Right. It's like escaping, just living life how you want to. because you don't get the choice to in real life.
Right.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
I do play as Big Sims sometimes, but they're always, all my Sims are hot as fuck. Like I make all of my Sims to be absolute baddies, but they're like big hot baddies. With massive mommy milkies, so.
Right, well, of course. I mean, I got mods for days, you know me, but I think, like, even that's a joke, like, that, like, dudes make jokes about that, like, well, is your Bitmoji, you know, fat? And it's like, mine is, yeah, like...
Yeah.
Because it's fucking Snapchat. Like, one, if you're snapping me, you know I'm fat, so that would be absolutely ridiculous to not have a fat Bitmoji. But on, you know, Sims, like, I'm just trying to make them, like, fucking fashion girlies, little baddies, little, like, with mommy milkies. Like, my mods are disgusting. So, like, let me live that in peace. Like, Second Life was worse because it's, like, you can play with other people, which, like, I played with, like, a group of friends that was safe. But Second Life is Sims on, like, actual cocaine. Like, it is... so good, and I was addicted to it for so long because of just the unlimitedness of creativity you can have with it.
Oh wow.
Hayley, you would love it. I even got my friend in on it once. Like, it was amazing. Like, Brian played it with me for a while. Like, but I had to dip out because people were getting a little too serious. People were, like, marrying each other in Second Life and then getting mad if they had a partner in real life. Like, it was toxic. So no thank you. But I really loved modding and creating people. It was really amazing. Yeah. But kind of gross too. You could get jobs in there. You could make money with it, but
like real money?
Like real money. You have to spend real money on Second Life. Real money. Like, I was spending like hundreds of dollars on this video game. Yes.
Damn.
It is.
I thought The Sims was bad.
No, Second Life is so much worse. And, like, people played as kids. Like, I played as a kid. And, like, I was, like, really young, by the way, when I did this. But, like, so, like, I played as a kid. And I, like, my friend was like, hey, like, me and my wife, you know, we have this little family. Do you want to be, like, the kid of the family? And I was like, oh, I'll design a kid character. Like, no, they wanted me to be the kid as an adult. Absolutely not. It was so cringe.
All right.
Yeah. Like, anyways, let's get back to the fat friend.
Yeah, so, alrighty. So the difference between, like, male and female friend groups, like, I feel like what I see a lot of, like, how fat guys are treated in their male friend groups, like, they are just the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, that's their whole existence. Again, it's just every single fucking joke is about how big they are. And, you know, they're just not a real person again.
Right.
And I feel like that's an issue with, like cis male, like, straight male friendships anyway, because, like, there's no emotional depth there.
Right.
So it's all superficial anyway, but then you have someone that you single out that you just bully, basically.
Right.
Because you never have those moments where you're, like, having a real connection outside of hobbies or superficial type shit.
Right.
Like, I just feel like that's really sad.
It is sad. I mean, as someone that I had a huge guy friend group, obviously I've talked about on the podcast, like, in North Carolina, and it was, like, super queer. Like, I really feel like someone would have just been like, hey guys, like, it's okay if you want to fuck each other. Like, it would be fun. Like, it's okay. Like, I'm not going to judge you. Like, just pound it out. Like, it's fine, you know? Like, I really feel like it would have enhanced their friendships if they had just, you know, taken some time and played a little bit.
You know what they say, that straight men are sexually attracted to women but romantically attracted to men?
Oh my god.
Like, it's true. Like, if they're like that, that's so fucking true.
Yeah, because they knew, like, they hung out, like, hung out, just like girls. Hung out every day. They went shopping together. They were always with each other. Half the time they were, like, sleeping with their girls together. So it's like, guys, like, if you're sleeping with your girlfriends in the same room with each other and you look at each other, like, just fuck. It's fine.
Yeah.
No
That
one
would save
cares.
time.
I mean, it's okay. And I feel like, because at such a young age, like, it's like if guys are sensitive or if they cry or,
Mm-hmm.
anything like that, they show any emotion. It's like, be a man. Like, back in our day, it was like, don't be gay, like, that's so
Yeah.
gay. So, like, program them that, like, it was a bad thing. And it's like, now I
They
feel like
don't.
it's not like that. And I'm so thankful for it. Hopefully.
Yeah. I feel
Like,
like it's definitely less like that, but I was just thinking that, like, you know how when girls go to college, it's like you can like kiss other girls when you're drunk and like have
yeah,
your experimentation phase, but if you want to, like, I guess, go back in the closet, or like you just decide it's not for you, you're not like forever seen as that person. But like,
right.
if a guy were to even be like, "Hey, I wouldn't mind kissing another guy," gay. Instantly
Yeah.
gay. No
I
redemption.
Right, I feel like they're shunned too. And I feel like
Yeah.
women shun guys too. Like, I've known a lot of
Yeah.
like hetero women that have been like talking to a guy and then been like, "Yeah, I'm bisexual." And the girl's like,
Yeah.
"Ew, no." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? That is a green flag if I ever saw one for me." Like,
Yeah.
it's
I
like it's a thing.
it's very neutral for me. Like, I know it's definitely a thing though. Like, did you ever watch the show Insecure? That was a
Mm-mm.
okay. It's really, really good, but that was kind of a plot point for one of the characters, Molly, where she was dating this great guy that she actually really liked, and she was the character that had like trouble finding a man but really wanted a relationship. And he disclosed that he was bisexual, and she broke it off with him.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know that because Molly's a black woman, I know that there's probably other cultural things that are at play there, like old attitudes die hard type of thing.
Right.
But yeah, she cut it right off. Yeah.
Damn. See, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
that's
I
yeah.
instantly thought of that when you said that, because
Right.
I think it is true. It's sad though.
Yeah.
Callie back there just like,
just just
hello.
just in it. Just in it. Like, our cats, like, that's why people watch our YouTube, is to see the cats pop in and out.
Yeah.
Like, for sure.
She's getting more comfortable.
Yeah.
But as far as the female friend groups, I feel like there's a lot more, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot more like frenemy type shit.
For sure.
And it's a lot more like psychological warfare.
Oh, for sure.
Instead of like, I feel like it's more that and less ball busting, but ball busting does happen as well. Like, I don't really know how else to phrase that.
Yeah. No, I would agree, because I think, like, with guys in, like, that type of, like, hetero relationship, it's more like, oh, like, they like make like nicknames about their fat friends, right? Like, like Tiny or whatever. And it's like, that would not fly with females. Like, the minute if I was
No.
in a friend group and they'd be like, "Hey, little bit, come here," I'd be like, "I will punch you." Like, I mean,
Right.
I will sit on you. Like, that's like my big like thing. Like, you want to talk about my weight? Like, let's see, let's go. You know what I mean? Back in the
Yeah.
day, I was like that. But I feel like with women, you're right. Like, hetero women relationships, it's very much like more psychological, more like
Yeah.
back talking, talking behind your back and sly remarks and, situational embarrassment than I feel like it is with men, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
Right.
And I feel like it definitely, not that the way that hetero men are to each other, like, not that can't be detrimental, but I feel like because it is those like little comments here and there, like, we stay friends with those people for such a long time that it turns into like a complex type of thing.
Right. Well,
Like,
I
you're
feel like,
permanently
yeah.
affected from it.
Well, the same with men. Like, they, how many stories have we heard of men that grow up bigger and hit the gym and then they literally hate fat people? They like become one of the biggest bullies because they were bullied nonstop. So it's like, okay, well, I did something about it. So now I like can't stand, that I was fat, and I can't stand fat people. So I treat them like shit, and it's like, you became literally what you hated.
Yeah.
You
also,
know?
like, just goes to show that you can lose all the weight in the world and you still fucking hate yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
It doesn't change anything internally.
For sure.
Yeah.
So what are some of your experiences?
I feel like most of my experiences, honestly, I was the one-sided or the emotional support fatty. Always. Like, I was never considered a duff. I know that. And I know that, like, I had friends that, like, made me the butt of the joke, and it was, like, you know, just kind of the ball busting, and then if you got upset, it's like, oh, it's like, you know how she is, that type of shit.
Right.
But I feel like in those instances, it's harder for me to determine if it was because I was fat, like on a conscious level anyway. Because I feel like obviously everyone can have like subconscious biases and that can fuel their actions, but in those types of relationships, I don't believe that they sought me out because I was fat. Like people like that, I met them because I was in like a situation with them, like whether it was a class or work, like I was just with them.
Right.
And formed that bond. And then they treated everybody like that.
Right.
So it's hard to say, but I definitely, growing up as someone who was like shy and awkward and in hindsight very neurodivergent, like I feel like I was taken advantage a lot by kids in like grade school, especially other girls, because there was like more than one occasion where I thought that I was like best friends with this really like pretty popular girl. And like we hung out and stuff, but it was like she was basically like a friend of me. Like she would act like my friend and then talk shit about me to all of her other pretty friends. And I just like accepted that treatment and would just blow it off. And even like my mom, like who didn't witness that shit, was like, Hayley, like she's not like, this is not how a friend treats you. Like I didn't see it though.
My God.
I know. I will never forget the bitch that did that to me the last time.
Give me her name. I will literally go find her.
She was crazy. And her mom was like legit crazy.
I'm crazy.
I know. But I don't want you to go to jail for her. She's not worth it.
Okay.
But she was a bitch.
When our podcast blows up and we're super famous, we're gonna name drop her. She's gonna be in our shit list.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Disgusting. Disgusting behavior.
Very disgusting.
I feel like I have like experiences being like all of these, which is gross, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, I think I had the fat and funny, I think was a big part of it, but I think that was like me developing that like as kind of like a defense mechanism.
For sure.
And outwardly projecting, you know, because I was so insecure and I was so just like self-conscious, I projected like this boisterous, funny attitude out like once I got older and was able to actually do that.
Right.
Because if I acted like that, like people wouldn't mess with me.
Exactly. If you're funny, no one's going to be mean to you. And if they are mean to you, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah. And if you act like you're tough and you're as tall as I am, people just kind of err on the side of caution. Even though, like, I would absolutely cry in private.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The friendships where it's like the guy is leaning on you emotionally, I think rereading that one hits a little different, because there were like a couple times that happened, and it was like after the first time I resolved not to get in that again, and then the second time I was like, son of a bitch, like you just don't notice it really, right? Because I feel like from my side of it, like I was just talking to the guy like I would a friend, you know, like a female friend. And I'm just that emotionally vulnerable and oversharing a lot of the time anyway. And then like developing feelings for someone like that and being like, God damn it. Again, like this sucks.
Were you older when that happened? Because I have one where I was younger You
I
know?
was like in middle school and high school. It happened a lot.
Yeah, I was in middle school too. So I'm glad as adults we're both like, no. But okay.
I think there was once before, like when I was in between relationships, where I thought it was going to go that way, but it was more like me having like a fleeting crush as a distraction, and then it disappeared. And I was like, whew,
Oh,
thank God.
okay.
Like we didn't get super close.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, as a kid I like was me and this guy were friends. We were friends. Our families were very close. And like he was so nice to me and acted like he liked me too. But then he became friends with like other guys in my neighborhood and then started treating me like trash. Because they treat me like trash. They treated me like trash, but like they were the neighborhood kids, so like they were the only people I could hang out with after school. So like I was definitely like the fucking fat friend that they just like fucking dragged, you know, because I was one of the boys.
Yeah.
But then like he started dragging me, and then like literally we could not, like I could not stand him, like because I was like, you're a fucking asshole, dude. Like we were childhood friends basically, and you knew that I thought you were just like the hottest thing in the world because you looked like Peter Pan from the old movie Peter Pan. The Jeremy Sumpter, I guess, was the actor's name. Like he looked just like him. He was such a fucking cutie. But then you like turned out to be a fucking dick, and I'm like, damn, dude. Like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Lame.
I hate when that happens.
I hated it, man.
Whenever someone switches up like that because they make a new friend or like they're in a new group and they just treat you completely differently. Yeah. It's so shitty.
It was so shitty. Even my mom was like, damn, I'm so sorry, honey. I'm like, yeah, man. Like, we literally stopped being friends, and it was really hard because we were super involved in each other's lives. But, you know, I think he's like a good person now or whatever, but still, my inner child deserved better than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had a couple guy friends. Like one of them I was friends with from kindergarten, and he was the one I lost my virginity to. But anyway, we talked about this in either the dating episode or...
Oh, I forgot you'd known him since kindergarten.
Yeah. And his younger sister's the same age as my brother, so...
My God.
Yeah. Knew them so well that my very conservative and cautious mother let me hang out at his house after I had soccer practice.
No.
With just the two of us. A 16-year-old boy and a 16-year-old girl. And that's when we did it.
No way!
Yeah. But yeah. So that happened, and obviously after that our friendship kind of like fizzled out. He was in the grade below me too, because I'd skipped a grade. I'd skipped half of kindergarten. Yeah. But that kind of like made it so we weren't as close as like we probably would have been if we'd been in the same grade, but yeah, so that's how that one turned out. And then another guy friend that I had, like really the only other one that I was friends with for as long as I was, like he never treated me bad. Like we were in the gifted program together, so we were around each other a lot and we're just kind of like super close. Like he was like the only guy I invited to my birthday parties aside from my brother and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
And he always brought me like really nice gifts. I did develop a crush on him and asked him out in like 7th grade. And then he was like, I see you as more of a friend. And I was like, oh, that's cool. It just died inside. Yeah. But that took care of that. Like I got over that, obviously. But we still remained friends, and it was just kind of we both went off to college and quit talking to each other.
But, my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's the worst. That's the worst, honestly. I feel like, well, like, that's like, you know, Taylor always says, like, men think women are gonna laugh at them, and women think men are gonna kill them. So, like, women think men are gonna kill them. So, like, I do feel like a lot of guys, like, that are assholes, like, they're really just an asshole because they're afraid, like, women are gonna laugh at them. And I think that, you know, even if they have feelings for the fat girl, it's still this like internal, like, I don't want to get made fun of by my friends, you know?
Yeah, it's like either way they get laughed at.
Yeah,
And they
exactly.
pick. Yeah. It really does suck.
It's the worst.
Because it's not like women enjoy being laughed at either. It's just, I think at that age, whenever we were younger, getting murdered and stuff wasn't as high on like our awareness list. So getting ridiculed would have been the worst thing that happened to us.
The worst. The rejection. Yeah. Terrifying. Oh yeah.
For sure.
Oh, God. Of course. Yeah. Horrible.
I'm sitting here thinking like how bad it felt back then. Like it was like
terrible.
Like world stopping.
Yeah. You feel like you're just never gonna get over it.
No.
But you do, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, it's...
Giving my little Amanda child a little hug right now.
I know, yeah. But I think that's why it's so validating, like, when the people that made fun of you in high school hit you up. Like, I've had multiple guys in my DMs that I went to high school with. They're like, hey, girl. And I'm like, today's the day.
Yeah.
You know, like, thank you. She needed this. You know what I mean? Because, like, in high school, like, you don't think that everyone's awkward and ugly, but, like, as an adult and you look back, you're like, wow, all of us were so awkward and so ugly. Like, no one should have been judging anyone. Like, you know what I mean? No.
Absolutely not. No. Especially, like, we were bad at makeup back then, too. God, like, we were wearing 2 polos with the collars popped. Like, who were we?
Who did... My foundation shade was, like, 2-3 shades darker than it should have been, okay? Like, it was disgusting. Like, no. But honestly, like, looking back, one of the worst relationships I've ever had as a fat person was with a female. And it was because I was the emotional supporter fatty. Like, I was... and it was like one-sided also. So it's like they were everything to me. Their life was everything to me. I did everything for them. Just at the end of the day to be so disposable.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like that fucks with you so hard. And it's because they never even saw me as important anyways. The relationship wasn't ever going to be what I wanted it to be. Because they didn't actually care about me. You know what I mean? Like, I was an emotional means to an end to them. I was a release, an escape, a cheerleader. Like, but like they were none of those. They were none of those things for me. You know what I mean? Like, so it's so hard now to, like, figure out, like, who's genuinely your friend?
Yeah.
You know?
I definitely relate to that, yeah.
It's very difficult to navigate. And I think it's at any size it can be difficult to navigate, but also like as a bigger person, like you're always waiting for like the shoe to drop.
Yeah.
You know?
Until it's like I feel like honestly even like it took me a while to wait for that in our friendship. Like I was so used to like I didn't know you. Like I met you online, you know?
Right.
And it was like especially after how things went with our mutual friend, it was like, damn, I think there was part of me, like, until we met in person, I was like, is there some shit that's gonna pop off? Like,
right. Yeah. No, remember we actually talked about it. We thought, like, it was just gonna, like, not work out. And if anything, like, losing the mutual made us stronger. The alliance thickened.
She knew we were too powerful.
She knew. That's what happened. That's why she showed her fat phobia, which we would have got. It's so funny too because I think that people think like, and we get comments all the time of like fat bitches are like judgmental, and you know we had that one comment. I don't know exactly what it said, but like bitter or something like that. Or, like a fat girl is just like a thin, bittered girl in a fat body, something like that. I don't remember what they said, but like you know we talk about the mutual that we stopped being friends with. Y'all, if the mutual had apologized, we would still be friends with them to this day.
Even if they'd apologized like late, like a delayed apology, like I think up until a certain point, but yeah,
it was just complete like denial, and then you know turning it around on us and backpedaling, and like Hayley and I aren't like sitting here being like our thin body friends can't make any mistakes. Like the minute you're fat phobic, we're out of here. Like that's not the
No.
way it is. We all have internalized fat phobia, like all of us. But it's the fact like when we call it out in you call it out in us, and we're like, hey, you're right. I'm sorry, that was so uncool. I need to work on this. Like, this tells me what I need to work on. You know what I mean?
Right.
None of that. No self-awareness whatsoever. So it's not like we're out here being like, oh, fuck you guys. Like, either you're like,
Yeah.
accept this or not. Like, you know what I mean? I wake up some days and I can't even accept my double chin. So it's like, I can't expect someone else to do it automatically, but I can expect to be treated with kindness and to be literally spoken to with respect and treated as a human being. Like, and that's literally all we're asking. And it's so sad how many people don't do it.
Yeah. And I think it's also sad that that's the reaction that we get, like, not even taking a second to be like, wait a minute, like, I'm doing the thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we just don't want people to double down and be like, well, you're the problem for being upset with it. That's literally it.
Right.
Like, hear what we're saying, learn from it, try to do better. You know, just take the L. It really would not have been as big of a deal if she hadn't made it that big of a deal.
Yeah. So many of my friends have made it a big deal. Sad. And now,
and I think that's another part of it. Like, whenever we finally have enough and we like draw a boundary, because they're so used to us having no boundaries at all.
Right.
And it's like they're jarred by it, and it's like, I feel like part of it's like, who do you think you are to us?
Oh, of course, because they're like, you're lucky I'm your friend. Like, look at you. Like, society has disposed of you. You're lucky that I am even willing to be your friend and go out in public with you. Like, I've had so many friends be like that. You know, I shared like the bar stories and stuff like that. Like, it's even like guys like that you're talking to. It's like the minute you're like, oh no, I don't like that. They're like, well, you were fucking fat anyways. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
This was an amazing conversation. Thank you. Appreciate this. That's why, like, I tell people all the time, like, don't believe what people say, believe their actions. Like, their actions show you who they are. Everyone can spit a good story, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, write a good text message, you know, but it's like, what are they doing to show you that they actually care about you? Because that will tell you their true feelings, is their actions.
Right.
And that can be very difficult to accept, but it's so true.
Yeah. And I would even say the courtesy extends with an action. Like, everyone can make a mistake in that regard too.
Absolutely.
But it's like when you sit down and take stock and it's like, damn, they don't do like anything.
Right.
Like, they don't offer any kind of support.
Right. So
they gotta go.
They gotta go. Take a good look at your friendships. Let us know your experiences that you've had. Have you been the fat and funny? Have you been the duff? Are you the butt of the joke? Are your relationships one-sided? Are you the emotional support fatty? Like, let us know your experiences. We'd love to get different perspectives from communities that we spoke about earlier. But yeah, I think that's going to end this episode. Hayley, where can they find us?
Alrighty, everybody. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Threads at Plus Size Section, on TikTok at The Plus Size Section. If you want to send us some stories, whether they're personal from Reddit, responses to our episode, you can shoot us an email at theplussizesection@gmail.com. As always, we would love it if you'd give a rating and review and give a little engagement, a little word engagement and emoji engagement. You know, just give us something to read. We love it.
Yeah.
And also share this podcast with your friends, because we're very cool.
Exactly. You can even send this episode to your friend group that has thin-bodied friends in it that maybe treat you like shit. We'll do a little subliminal message here. It's fine.
Yeah.
We love some helpful passive aggressiveness. But yeah, we will see you guys next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.